There we go. Good morning, Giants.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So, thinking about spontaneity today, like your face. Spontaneous.
Oh,
Unexpected, right? Something happens, you don't know where it came from. It's unexpected. So, um,
like your face.
like your face. Expecting Ryan with a beard, and then you get Ryan without a beard. It's amazing. So, yeah, what do you think about spontaneity?
Some that's like the story of my life.
Yeah. I know I know when I hear that word, a lot of people are like, yeah, you're for a person, it's somebody that just does something out of the blue, unexpected, right?
Usually.
Usually. Okay. So let's dive a little different on it. So spontaneous, right? That word means that it doesn't have the source for it isn't apparent. And so in physics, they say that your face. In physics, they say that photons can appear in a vacuum spontaneously. They'll just come in and out of existence without any explanation of how that occurs. And so that becomes spontaneous. And so in our lives, when we're doing things, spontaneous would be that things occur in our lives that we can't explain. There's no source, there's no trigger. It's just these random events happen and we don't know how to explain how they happen, but they do happen. It's almost like magic. It's mystical, spontaneous, almost like synchronicity,
Hmm.
right? We can't explain it, but we see it consistently. And so opening up to the idea that things can occur, they can come in and out of existence spontaneously without us having to explain how they did that opens us up to some possibilities to just trust that when things do show up that they can serve us. Like, what do you hear in that?
It's happened a lot for me over the years. And now you talking about that um, makes me think of more times where that's happened, where I put myself out there and pushed and pushed and pushed and worked, but I didn't know exactly how something was going to turn out.
Yeah.
But almost spontaneously,
Yeah.
things worked out, right?
Yeah, I remember I shared this story about going out and looking for a real estate client, and it
Yeah.
was middle of winter, it was freezing cold. I was out knocking doors. The only thing I gained in knocking doors was some hot chocolate, right? And some tears.
Sore knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah, sore knuckles, tears, and hot chocolate. Um, but none of my efforts created the outcome. But I went home, and that same night, I got a phone call from somebody asking me to list their property. Spontaneous. There's no explanation for it, but I think there's a rule that you've got to put in the effort, however you can think of it. I don't think the universe cares how you put the effort in. It'll make up the difference. It just wants to see that you'll put the effort in. And so it can occur spontaneously if you're willing to go out there and try whatever you can think of. Then it says, well, you didn't think of this, but I'm going to push it over your way. And it opens us up to receive that.
Hmm. What's up, Mr. Davy?
Hey, Davey. I'm wondering if
Spontaneously,
Davey,
Davy shows up.
yeah, there we
Hey,
go. How
buddy.
did that get on the screen? You talk about a guy. So Davies runs a huge contracting company out of Kingman, Arizona, and I'm sure he's had experience with spontaneous events in the positive, where
I
he's
was
like,
going to
I
say
don't know
good and
how,
bad.
good and bad.
I had a
I don't
friend
know
who
how
had a
I'm going to do
construction
this.
company that it was a framing company, and his crew showed up to a spot, and they looked at the plans, they looked at the lot, the foundation, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, it's pretty close. A little bit of modification, we can make this work." So they framed up a house, and the foreman shows up, and they had framed up a house on the wrong foundation. It was a couple of lots over.
Oh, geez, really?
That's a bad
I,
day. So I don't
I
know. Maybe
thought,
maybe spontaneously you have a house on the wrong lot.
or maybe you get a new driveway. There was somebody the other day that they paved the wrong driveway. That would
Hmm.
be a nice spontaneous thing to wake up to. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, wow, I'll
Wow.
take it.
That's a nice driveway
I
I
didn't
just
expect
got.
that. Yeah.
I'm sure though he's had some of those events where it's kind of those spontaneously bad days and spontaneously good
Yeah.
days.
Yep. Yep, you just wasted all that wood. Good morning.
Yeah, Davey says he's never done that. That was pretty bad, but
Yeah, he seems pretty organized.
yeah,
But sometimes there's these things that occur, you can't explain how they occur, but they just do.
mm,
And it's almost a reward for your efforts. Like you've been out there pushing and you can't see all the ways that you could go, but it opens up. Um, what we seem to think is magical for some people or luck is really them putting themselves out there to be open to all the possibilities. As they put the effort out, things show up that we wouldn't see. We can't explain it from our end. It's like a magician. We can't explain the trick, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And so when people are out there chasing down every intuition, every insight they can think of to create their dream, then things show up in their space that they can't explain, that we can't explain.
yeah. A lot of times you look at somebody who's achieved success, and from the outside looking in, you're like, wow, oh my gosh, look at that. That just happened for that guy or that
Yeah.
girl or whatever. But you probably didn't see all the late nights and all the practice and all the hard work and all the chasing every lead like you're talking about. And that person usually remembers all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, um, man, sometimes it might not feel like it spontaneously showed up because you worked your guts out. But uh, I like that. I like that take on spontaneity.
Well,
It's,
I think the big key here is that you got to do your part. Steve Hardison talks about TBOLIT NFL. He did this event back in 2000. Oh, I want to say it was 2010. It was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. But he was reading the newspaper and somebody had just lost one of the championships and he felt really bad for this person. He thought, I can help this guy. So he follows his intuitions and he says, I wonder how I can get in touch with this guy. So he thinks of the first person he can think of and he calls that person. And they say, yeah, I know somebody that might be able to get in touch with him. I don't know him personally. And they put him in touch with somebody else. And he meets this guy named Deuce Latouille. And Deuce Latouille says, well, can you do that for me? And that's where TBOLIT NFL comes in. Is Deuce Latouille wanted to be the best offensive lineman in the NFL, and that's what
hmm,
the acronym stands for. And so he became a client of Steve Hardison. So while he was chasing intuition for this one thing over here, he created a client completely unexpected and unexplainable if you think about it. But you can see the path looking backwards. You can't see the path looking forward. You can see it backward,
mm,
but it was because he's willing to chase those intuitions as they come rather than trying to know the path in advance and try and predict it and know every step that he needs to take. He just follows his gut and ends up creating this client out of trying to help somebody else. I don't think he ever ended up helping that other guy,
that's interesting.
but he ended up exactly where he needed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. Exactly where you needed to be.
Yeah. So don't worry so much about the how to. Worry about being in action. Do what you can think of doing and things will appear. I like that, Christy. So your whole life revolves around manifestation. Yeah, I like that. And part of that is putting your piece in, doing your part. So I'd be curious if there's other thoughts around that. Do you have any other thoughts, Ryan?
I appreciate that, and it's nice to have examples and other people that have done that to then turn around and let you know what they've done and
Yeah.
how they've done it, so that you don't just you don't sit at home and yeah, that's a mystery, and I wish I could do that. I hope I could do that.
Yeah.
You get people like a Steve Hardison that are willing to share, somebody like a Nick Smith that's willing to share, his hot chocolate real estate story.
You-
Davey has a comment. It's a little big. It's going to cover us both. But I've had
yeah.
people tell me, must be nice to have a new truck. Must be nice to have a new house. Must be nice to drive around. I always respond with, must be nice to work after 8 hours. Must be nice for work to end at the end of your shift. Must be nice not to have to stay up countless hours finishing paperwork. Oh yeah, 100%.
There you go. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What people don't see is all the back work, the backstory, all the work that goes in, all the things that you and I do to create this vision that we have. We have no idea how we're going to do it. We didn't know that we'd have all these things supporting this cause when we started. They weren't even in our vision. But we continue to chase intuitions as they come. We get inspired to do something, we chase it. Like yesterday, I was creating letters to celebrities and books. So I'm mailing out books in the next few days to celebrities. It may go nowhere, but I'm willing to chase the intuition.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they ever respond. It's just a demonstration that I'm willing to do whatever I can think of to create the dream. And I think it shows commitment to your dream when you're willing to chase those leads.
Yeah, and I like getting the book into the hands of as many giants as possible. People that have some influence that can be able to then turn around and do what Steve Hardison did and share that with others. How they became giants, and that's what they're doing. And so the more hands that we can get that in, the more people we can influence. We have a goal of 100 million giants to influence, and when we hit that goal, we'll adjust and put it out there even bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Bigger
we'll probably
dreams.
do it as we get closer to that goal, and it becomes, you know,
Yeah,
an inevitability at that
yeah,
point.
I love that. When it becomes inevitable, then we'll adjust and we'll create something else. Christopher Reeves quote that things go from possibilities to probabilities to inevitabilities. And so that really is the path. Everything is possible. It really is. The likelihood of some things occurring is pretty low, but it is possible. The probability is where you start to work. You start to see that, man, this really could happen, and then it becomes inevitable. It starts to happen in your life, and you're like, wow, that actually is happening.
You watch
And
giants spontaneously, 100 million will appear or have been touched by the giants. So
and how we could do that. I mean, there are infinite ways that we could create that, and
yeah,
which paths to follow. We'll feel that through. It's like Todd Clyde's spike that he gave.
yeah,
When he's working the metal, he has to feel the flow of the metal to know where it needs to go. And that's how it works with our lives. As we're working, we'll feel where we need to go. We'll have inspirations and intuitions and feelings of, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And then
hmm
when we follow those, it finally takes form and becomes what we have in mind. So yeah,
That's beautiful. I feel complete. That's awesome.
I do too. So yeah, put it out there, go to work. I think it's a combination there, Davey. It's the holy trinity of creation. It's think it, feel it, and then act on it. Get out there and act on it, then the universe will respond. So good. Any other thoughts? Any other comments?
I think we're golden. Make it a
Okay.
giant day.
Thanks, Giants. We'll see you on the next video.
Love you too.